Hi, this is Coach Colette, host of the Start Within podcast, and welcome to this week's episode of Financial Fridays. While we are near the end of April, and you know that Stress Awareness Month is in the month of April, the theme this year, ironically enough, was regaining connectivity, certainty, and control. And we know that so many aspects of our lives are technically out of our control. I believe that the pandemic and lockdown have reinforced this fact. And yet it is still important to figure out ways to manage your stress, get into a more flowing or grounded state of being. In my coaching and wellness circles, an article in the New York Times has been circulating, and it focuses on a topic that the organizational psychologist Adam Grant has introduced, and it's called languishing. And you may relate to this feeling during this time. He describes it as a sense of stagnation and emptiness, or kind of a void between states of depression and states of flourishing or thriving. Basically, it's an absence of true and total well-being. And what he describes as, you might notice it as your delight or your happiness feels a little bit dulled, or your drive and motivation seem to be dwindling. And you may not catch it because of taking more time for yourself. You can actually become indifferent to this state of indifference. So I encourage you to think about it. Have you been noticing that you're not quite as excited or not quite as motivated as you have been in the past? And recognize that this is a normal reaction to the state of affairs. What is suggested as a way of moving through this languishing state is to really connect back into a state of flow. And I talk about that often on this podcast. So how is it that you get into a grounded state? How is it that you get to a state of being more centered? And finding those activities that work well for you. It could be moving your body, whether that's yoga or stretching or walking or running or riding a bike. It also could be other tactile activities like journaling your thoughts and actually writing pen to paper, or coloring in a coloring book, or creating a collage. Or it could be knitting or sewing. Some way of getting your mind and your body in motion and allowing yourself to relax into the activity, not worrying about whether it's perfect or stressing about whether or not you're being creative enough, just going with the flow. So I hope that this is helpful for you. I can say for myself that I have definitely noticed languishing in my state of being, and I too will be taking my own advice to find more ways to get back to flow and grounding. That's all for me for now. Get ready and listen up to today's tip from Suki Singh.
Hello everyone, this is Suki Singh, aka Investing, of the Investing Podcast with your weekly Financial Friday tip. Now is the time with spring upon us, do some financial spring cleaning. Are you maximizing your 401k? Is your IRA being maximized? Are you contributing enough towards your retirement? Now is the time to think about those things and see what's happening with those so you can do a financial spring cleaning for you and your family. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Coach Colette. What do you think of the episode so far? What are your main takeaways? Before we jump back into the content, I want to let you know that I know that racial battle fatigue is real. Black, Indigenous, Latinx, and other women of color, we are suffering disproportionately from both the racial issues and the sexist issues that are happening at this time. But did you know that joy is a form of resistance? And joy is possible when you find ways to overcome stress, anxiety, and trauma. And it's possible when you start within, and I would love to help you do it. You can visit my website, startwithincoaching.com, and at the top, click Start Here to schedule your complimentary discovery call. We can talk about what's going on in your world, how you are dealing, how you are coping, and how we can help you to take more actions to reclaim your joy. So go to startwithincoaching.com, click Start Here to start your journey within. Hey, it's Coach Colette with this week's Unplugged segment. I must say that this languishing thing is for real. I'll also say that it runs counterintuitive to content creation. This is the Unplugged segment so that I feel like I can be honest about that fact. I have been experiencing a state of languishing. I've become more aware of it as we have moved through the month of April. I think it's been lingering in the background, probably since earlier in the year, but I feel a lot more aware of it now. I feel like it's a sense of burnout from the past year and a half of navigating my way through COVID and lockdown and solo quarantining and Zoom and isolation and all of the things that I have been wrestling with. I feel like I can be honest with you all that are listening to this podcast. And I hope that my level of honesty and authenticity also gives you permission to do so for yourself. In my coaching and wellness community, we talk a lot about self-care, we talk about self-love, we talk about self-esteem, we talk about self-confidence. And all of these things are connected to our relationship with ourselves. As I have said many times before on this podcast, this past year and change has been a huge opportunity for me to get up close and personal with myself. When I think about my self-care and self-love rituals and habits, I'm starting to notice that I need to find some new outlets. I have mentioned before that I have my bookends of meditating and energy activation in the morning and breath work and energy activation in the evening or night before I fall asleep. And I've noticed in the past week that I've had less motivation to perform those activities. So now that I'm aware of that, I am proactively seeking out new healers, new practitioners that have offerings that I can take advantage of or learn more about so that I can rejuvenate and perhaps add something new to my self-care ritual and routines. It's important to really be able to be honest with yourself about how you are feeling, how you are coping, what's working, and perhaps what's not working well. And recognize the fact that certain habits, certain rituals may need to shift, or you may need to switch it up. Perhaps you really enjoyed doing yoga, or you perhaps really enjoyed meditating, or perhaps you really enjoyed some other wellness activity. And maybe now it's not giving you the same juice. It's not giving you that same spark that you had in the past. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to give up the idea of the ritual or give up the idea of caring for yourself. It just might mean finding something new, finding something different that will rejuvenate and re-energize you. As we're moving into May, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'll be talking about lots of ideas that maybe will spark a new idea for you. And I will continue in these Unplugged segments to be authentic and real about what's working and perhaps maybe what's not working for me. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, in the US, in New York City, having the opportunity to spend more time outside also can be a great way to make that shift. So all of our internal activities, finding ways to even do the same thing, but just do it outside. So perhaps meditating in a park, on a beach, or some other location. So it may be about shifting the activity, or it may be about shifting the location of that activity. But let's keep it fresh. Let's find ways to continue to nourish ourselves and to love on ourselves, because we still need this to keep going and to keep thriving. I have faith in you. I see you. I witness you. I hold space for you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care, be well, and we'll speak again soon. Start within to finish strong. So what is your takeaway from this week's Financial Fridays segment? What might you do differently around your money and your mindset? For more financial advice, you can check out Suki's podcast, Invest Sing, where I also share tips on his Wellness Wednesdays segment. If you enjoyed this episode and haven't already subscribed, you can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Coach_Colette for more inspiration on personal growth and wellness. Tune in next Friday for another episode and get ready to start within to finish strong.